Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today we're going to talk about Dodge because they are really in the news with the release of their 7th special edition car. We've been waiting on this thing now for what, 6-7 months. Well, they finally showed it to us this week, and it is absolutely a monster. 1,025 horsepower. The Demon 170 is what they're dubbing this, and it basically has everybody going nuts. I mean, dealerships are going crazy with the markups on this car. They told us how many they're going to make, and everybody wants a piece of this thing. But I'm going to talk today a little bit about why maybe this isn't such a good thing for Dodge in terms of the way they marketed it, and maybe a few other things kind of going on in the background with this car that are not ideal. If you guys are brand new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Also hit that notification bell for more great content, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Now, first of all, I know what some of you guys at home are thinking. Racer X, what in the world is wrong with your eyes? Well, we've got some stupid allergies going on right now in Florida. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, this is the first year I've lived here, but my eyes are basically swelling shut like several times a day. I'm having all sorts of allergy problems. It's not fun. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of suffering through this video, but I wanted to get it out there for you guys. I feel like it's important to talk a little bit about why this car could be kind of over-marketed, overhyped a little bit. I mean, that's what the Dodge guys do the best, right? They generate hype around their cars, and I absolutely love that. But they are marketing this particular car as the very first production car to ever get into the 8s. But is that really the case, right? I mean, is this something that somebody's going to be able to go by and then immediately go out to the drag strip and run 890 at 151 miles an hour? Well, history tells us that is not the case. Let's take a step back to say 5 or 6 years ago when the initial Demon came out, right? Dodge came out and said, look, this is the fastest street legal production car out there in terms of quarter mile. It runs a 965 at 140 miles an hour. A lot of firsts on this car, right?
It's just you and the Demon and one simple effing goal. Go down that quarter mile faster than anyone else can. And when you hit 140 miles an hour and cross that line, you know what you did, and the scoreboard shares your feat with the nearby world. 9.65 seconds. What you did there was make history behind the wheel of the fastest production car in the world.
First production car with a trans brake, first production car with drag radials. If you got the crate, this thing would run on race fuel, so you had a different PCM you could put in it. A lot of really neat race goodies on the initial Demon. That's part of what made it so special. And only 3,300 units, 3,000 for the US. And everybody wanted to get their hands on one of these, a piece of automotive history. But then guys got their cars. They were super excited to go out and run their 965. And a lot of guys couldn't break into the 9s at all. They were like, what is the story? Everybody told me this car will run 965, and yet here I am out here running like 10.0 all day, or maybe like a 990 if you're in good air. And nobody could seem to duplicate that 965, right? And so what we know is that Leah Pritchett, now Leah Pruitt, she went out there, very light driver, very, very good driver. And she went out to a drag strip in Florida. Perfect conditions, perfect prep, amazing DA, you know, the full drag pack on the car, best fuel in the car, everything you can imagine. Every single millimetric thing was basically perfect. I don't know how many runs she had at it. You know, they said this thing will do a wheelie for like 3.5 feet. I mean, basically it did all that, but it was under absolutely millimetrically perfect conditions. And we all know that isn't real life for most of us. So here we are, 5-6 years later, and now we have the Demon 170. They're saying 899 right off the showroom floor. I mean, very impressive numbers to think about, but are they doing themselves a disservice by saying that?
Run 0 to 60 in a record NHRA certified 1.66 seconds. And the quarter mile in a record NHRA certified 8.9 seconds at 151. Yes, the Demon 170 is history's first 8-second factory muscle car.
So the Demon 170, world's quickest production car, at least so they say, right? 8.9, 151 mile an hour, unbelievably fast. Most people can't even comprehend how fast that really is in terms of drag race speed. But will that car actually run that? So we saw what they did out there in Vegas, right? We saw the driver go down the track. He was hauling butt. But I've talked to some experts, and I've actually heard some commentary about people that have talked to that driver. He was extremely worried about hooking that car up at all. And the pass he ran out there in Vegas was actually not even close to an 890 pass. It was probably more like high nines is actually what he ran in that car. And it And it was all really just done for show. And I'm kind of afraid that this is the sort of thing that's going to happen once again. Dodge marketed this as a car that would go out and run 890s. It will also do like 0 to 60 in 1.66 seconds, 2 Gs lateral launch in terms of just how hard that thing comes off the line. I don't think the average guy is going to be able to sniff this even close. They're going to take these cars expecting those numbers once again, just like the initial Demon, and they're going to go out and they're going to be sorely disappointed. And we really have to think about what they were going after, right? Cars like the 765 LT from McLaren, cars like the Tesla Plaid, which, as we know, the Tesla Plaid all-wheel drive basically never misses, right? I mean, it just runs 9.2 at 150 or 151 mile an hour all day. So in a car like this, rear-wheel drive that's very dependent on DA, all that kind of stuff, will you really be able to go out and run against a Tesla Plaid and beat it? It is extremely hard to do. Ask me how I know in my twin-turbo Mustang how hard it is to beat a Plaid. Like I said, I mean, they do it time in and time out. They're impervious to DA, all-wheel drive. They literally do not miss. So unless you run an absolutely perfect race in perfect DA, the chances are you are probably going to lose to a Plaid in this car. I know it's not what a lot of people want to hear, but as you know, that thing is kind of the king of the road for a reason. It doesn't look like it, right? It just kind of looks pretty unassuming when you see a Plaid. Take my word for it, guys. They are unbelievably fast. So will the Demon 170 really be able to go out and take down a Plaid? I would love to be the guy to find out, right? I'd love to be able to get a hold of one of these, take it down there to Miami or someplace, and race somebody with a Plaid and see what actually happens to see if it is true. I mean, can this car really beat that? My mind says probably not. I would say that the Demon 170, as fast and as capable as it is, it will still be faster than the original Demon. There's no question in my mind. But I really feel like this car is more like a 940, 950 car for the average person in okay air. Like I said, this is not in Colorado. This is in fairly decent air. I feel like that is going to be what this car can accomplish. And going out and beating a Plaid, I don't see that happening. 8 out of 10 races, maybe 9 out of 10 races still go to the Plaid, at least in my mind, until it's proven different. I am very eager to see what the average racer or even the avid racer can do when they get this car. I do not believe anybody's going to be able to replicate this 891. I would love it if that happened. I just don't see it being feasible. I think you're going to, once again, need to have mineshaft air, perfect prep. I mean, it is going to have to be the perfect storm of conditions for somebody to be able to duplicate what Dodge is saying this car will do. And here's an even bigger problem I'm finding right now is that so many people want this car, right? It is still an unbelievably fast car. It is the world's most powerful production muscle car, as I mentioned. Everybody wants a piece of this thing, right? And then it came out, it was $97,000, which is a lot of money, but it actually wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like 140, 150 grand. Therein lies the issue, because the dealerships are getting a hold of these, and despite Dodge saying that, hey, look, you know what? We're going to build the MSRP allocations first. Those are the ones that are going to take precedent.
This acknowledgement form, it says, if you pay sticker for the car and it is sold order to you as a customer, we will priority schedule your car. You'll get your car built first.
Okay.
If you pay over sticker You'll still get your car, absolutely. Or if it's for dealer stock and not for a customer sold order, we'll of course build the car for you, but we'll build it last. The reason we're doing that is if I run out of time, what I want to do is prioritize sold orders at MSRP for customers first so that I know that I get those cars built. And if I have enough time and still can build the cars, we'll get to the other ones at the end.
And they only think they're going to be able to build so many units of these. So I've heard from multiple sources that Dodge, even though they tried to commit to building 3,000 US units, they're not going to get anywhere close to that. They only showed 2,500 on the horsepower locator, and there are many that speculate they won't even get close to that number. So certainly the dealerships putting their cars out there at MSRP, those allocations are going to get filled right away, assuming they're customer orders. And of course, dealers have ways of fudging around that. And then we run into this dealer markup, which most of the dealers don't care about the fact that Dodge is only fulfilling kind of those initial MSRP orders first. There's even a dealership here in Tampa where I live, Jerry Ohm. They're charging $300,000 over sticker, and they have 10 allocations. That is actually extremely sad. I knew this was going to happen, guys, but basically the average, what I'm finding, I called like 30 different dealerships, and the average is $100,000 over MSRP, double the price of the car, more than double the price of the base car. And once again, as I suspected, this car is only going to be for the elitely wealthy. Most people cannot afford to pay $100,000 over sticker to these dealerships because they're being greedy. I absolutely hate that practice, as I've told you. And once again, they're keeping the cars out of the true enthusiast hands and really putting them in the hands of just really elitely wealthy people, a lot of investors who are basically going to use these cars as gigantic paperweights. And the chance of seeing one of these out of the drag strip, I feel like, really diminishes with this insane dealer markup. It is a serious problem, and it's happening all over the nation. Now, one other quick thing that I want to address is the fact that a lot of Demon owners, well, they're pissed off because Dodge made a point to get Demon owners out there, original Demon owners, to this unveiling to showcase this car. And then, of course, Tim Kuniskis came out and told everybody, look, for those of you Demon owners that buy one of these new Demons, we will duplicate your serial number. We'll build this car with the same serial number as your original Demon, and you'll have a matching set, which in theory is pretty darn cool.
And you have a special plan for the VINs as well, right?
We have a special plan. If you own a current Demon, you can get the same number again. So if you own number 43 and you'd like a matching set, we'll guarantee you first right of refusal on the same matching VIN.
That is so cool. So you can have the 2018 Demon matching VIN with the 2023 DC 170.
The OG and the fastest ever.
Cool. But after talking with a bunch of you guys, apparently it didn't really work out that way because of the dealerships. So apparently allocations are extremely hard to come by. Most people couldn't find one at all. And even when they did, the dealership was charging $100,000, $200,000 over MSRP. So no preferential treatment in terms of Demon owners to getting one of these cars. And it just, I think it kind of blew up in the face of Dodge because now they alienated their loyal Demon owners, and a lot of these guys are not happy. So did Dodge do itself a huge disservice by marketing this car as an 8-second production car? Will it be able to beat cars like the Plaid and the 765 McLaren and all that kind of stuff? I mean, once people start getting a hold of these, putting these things on the dyno, going out and, actually tracking them against these cars, then we'll know. But for right now, I can't imagine that these cars are going to be able to do that. I hope they can. We'll wait and see. And the other thing, like I said, guys, there's so many people that are so pissed off that they can't get one of these because of what the dealerships are doing. The dealer markup, guys, it is beyond out of control right now. So unless you're extremely lucky or extremely wealthy, this car, it just will not be a reality for most people. So it's kind of a shame. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.